Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for tuning in to Canal Algérie's nightly news on February the 14th. Here are the top stories. Tasked by the President of the Republic, the Foreign Affairs Minister takes part in the proceedings of the ordinary session of the African Union Consecutive Council ahead of the 37th African Union Summit. Few days before the GECF, the energy policy debated at the Radio Forum with a particular stress on a reasonable consumption. An exclusive confession made by a Moroccan drug trafficker arrested in Bishar province. More details in a bit. Also tonight, Sahrawi civilians targeted by the Makhzen forces in Al-Mairdat with the aim of expelling them from their territories. Welcome again. First off, tasked by the President of the Republic, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, takes part in the 44th Ordinary Session of the Executive Council of the African Union, which began this Wednesday in Addis Ababa. Attaf underlined in his speech on the occasion Algeria's keenness to share its experience with African countries in order to contribute to the revival of the sector of education. These proceedings are in the framework of the preparations for the 37th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of the African Union, slated for the 17th and 18th of February 2024 under the theme Educated in Africa, Adopted with the 21st Century. In a related context and on the sidelines of the session, the Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf held talks with his counterpart of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Mohammed Salim Ould Marzouk, as well as his counterpart of the Republic of Burundi, Albert Shinigro, that of the Republic of South Sudan, James Piriam Morgan, his counterpart of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Youssef Maitama Tougar, that of the Republic of Sierra Leone, David John Francis, as well as the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Political Matters of the State of Libya, Mohammed Isa. These meetings revolved around a set of topics on the agenda of the Council, the importance of the coordination of the positions in regional and international fora, as well as the development in the South Sahara region, and the need to promote the peaceful solutions in order to settle conflicts and crisis. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, received a phone call from the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. The discussion's main focus was the development of the situation in Gaza Strip, the diplomatic efforts deployed by Algeria at the level of the Security Council in order to implement the provisional measures issued by the International Court of Justice. In separate news, and on the first day of his official visit to Turkey, the Minister of Justice Abdurrashid Tabbi, Keeper of the Seals, met in Ankara his Turkish counterpart Yilmaz Tunç, with whom he discussed cooperation between both countries in judicial and institutional matters and means to strengthen it. The meeting took place in the presence of the Ambassador of Algeria to Ankara, Ammar Bilani. Minister Tabbi visited the Justice Academy of Turkey, where he gained knowledge on the Turkish experience in training magistrates before having an exchange of views on means to nourish cooperation in this important aspect. Worth mentioning that the Algerian Higher School of the Judiciary and the Turkish Academy of Justice are bound by a memorandum of understanding signed on the 17th of December 2022. Tabbi continued the program of his visit by visiting the Turkish Appeal Court, where he learned about the functioning of this judicial body and met its President Mohammed Arkadra, with whom he exchanged views on means to promote cooperation in the field of justice. Still with the Algerian-Turkish relations, the Minister of Trade and Promotion of Export, Tayyip Zitouni, received a parliamentarian delegation led by the head of Foreign Affairs Committee of the Grand National Assembly of the Republic of Turkey, Fuad Oktay. The meeting was an opportunity to touch on the historical and strategic relations between both countries, as well as the volume of trade exchanges and raising investments. As Algiers is getting ready to host its 7th Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, it should be noted that it has always pleaded for a reasonable consumption of this important energy source, as indicated by the experts present at the Radio Forum held today on this occasion. Misa Gebash has a story.
Regarding Algeria's crucial role within the energy world, experts present at the Radio Forum highlighted the importance of the 7th Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, scheduled on February the 29th till March the 2nd in Algiers, as it constitutes an opportunity to promote beneficial cooperation in a particular geopolitical context. The Algerian energy diplomacy plays a pioneering role in consolidating cooperation between member countries in this forum while guaranteeing security, accessibility and energy sustainability. Important means are mobilized with the presence of a media panel and experts so that the event benefit from a remarkable media coverage, as the summit is deemed as an important platform to promote dialogue and international cooperation. The summit's agenda includes several topics related to the energy and oil field.
Gas as an important source of energy. The members taking part in this event will discuss several issues, including the importance of this substance on the international market within the 2050-2060 prospect. The reinforcement of these countries, the challenge of pollution will also be discussed alongside other important files related to the same field.
The summit will also enrich consultation between consumer countries and other organizations, hoping to beef up cooperation, face the challenges encountered by the energy field, and most importantly, shape the future of the gas industry.
The EGCF website was officially launched. It is an updated platform containing the necessary information related to the summit. A forum guide is available, as well as to provide people interested in this event with further useful details pertaining to the gas market situation and challenges, in addition to the summit agenda from the opening session to the closing one. In a related context, let's discover the refinery RI2K in Skikda province, which was brought on stream in 2009. It is the only refinery of condensate in the country destined to treat diesel, butane, kerosene, and other products intended for exportation. Raouf Hamouch's report taken up by Ines Killu.
RI2K refinery is the only one in Algeria that processes condensate, a type of light oil intended primarily to meet the national needs in diesel and butane, products that are also intended for export. An average of nearly 8 million tons of condensate are processed each year at this plant, 80% of which is naphtha destined for exportation.
On a 2 bacs de stockage de naphtha de 36 000 mètres cubes.
We have two 36,000 cubic meters of naphtha storage tanks, two 10,000 cubic meters paraffin tanks, two light and heavy diesel tanks, and two butane spheres. So the condensate is separated into byproducts, much of it is naphtha. It is at 80% to 82% of the charge. Then comes the paraffin ZA1, which is used for aviation at 10%. Then there is light diesel and heavy diesel, which account for an average of 5 to 7% of the load. And then there's butane, which accounts for 1% of the load, the lightest part.
Qui est à 1% de la charge. C'est la partie la plus légère.
RA2K ensures a quality product through its laboratory, which carries out all the necessary tests to ensure that all inputs meet the international quality standard and safety standards. The standards are equal to international standards, even the analysis methods as well. The little sister of the big RA1K is a true flagship of the Algerian oil and gas industry, operating at full speed to deliver a wide range of hydrocarbon spin-offs.
See the exhibition palace in Algiers, where the International Pharmacy Fair kicked off with the participation of more than 170 exhibitors. The event will continue until the 17th of the current month. The challenges of the internationalization of the Algerian pharmaceutical industry is at the top of this event, which constitutes an atmosphere of exchange of experiences on matters related to pharmacy for the participants. On to the operational report of the People's National Army's activity in the past week. In the context of the fight against terrorism and thanks to the qualitative efforts of the units of the People's National Army, the terrorists named A. Tahir and T. Sid Ahmed surrendered to the military authorities of the 6th military region in possession of 2 Kalashnikov submachine guns and a quantity of ammunition, while the terrorists named K. Ahmed were arrested at the level of the same military region. These terrorists were active in terrorist groups in the Sahel. In the same context, detachment of the People's National Army arrested 22 support elements to terrorist groups during separate operations. In the framework of the fight against organized crime and in continuation of the tireless efforts aimed at countering the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the PNA intercepted in coordination with the different security services and operations across the military regions 35 drug traffickers, including a Moroccan arrested in Bashar in possession of 207 kilograms of processed keef and a gun. Similarly, 137 kilograms of processed keef through the borders with Morocco and over 82,900 psychotropic tablets were seized. In Tamras, Burj Baji Mukhtar, and Ingazam, detachments of the People's National Army arrested 230 individuals and seized 36 vehicles, 99 generators, 76 jackhammers, in addition to quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 30 other individuals were arrested in 2 Kalashnikov submachine guns, 10 hunting rifles, 3 automatic pistols, in addition to over 18,300 liters of fuel, as well as 33 tons of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation, and 53 quintals of tobacco, in addition to 13,836 units of various beverages were seized during separate operations across the national territory. Similarly, border guards thwarted at the level of our national coast attempts at illegal immigration and rescued 28 individuals aboard traditionally made boats, while 279 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested across the national territory. As we've mentioned, these qualitative operations enabled the arrest of a Moroccan drug trafficker named Abdelghani Shinna, who gave exclusive confessions in which he admitted that Moroccan youth smuggled drugs towards Algeria as a result of the unfortunate difficult conditions prevailing in the kingdom. Let's hear what he had to say.
أنا المسلم عبدالغني الشنا مدعو عبدالغني الغليل مهرب مخدرات مغربي منطقة بوعاف عمري 33 سنة.
I am Abdelghani Shinna, a drug trafficker aged 33. The drugs are produced in Katama Mountain twice a year. We transport them to Algeria. Through the borders, using donkeys, we have been compelled to drug trafficking due to the harsh living conditions. For instance, we lack gas during this winter season, though it's not a reason to behave likewise. The Moroccan intelligence services of Al Hamouchi are involved in this operation by granting commission so that traffickers can fulfill their mission. We have no link with the Makhzen, it's our boss who gives them money to allow us move. We are against normalization with the Zionist entity. We organized demonstrations and took to the streets to denounce this move. There are some officers belonging to the Royal Army who are against normalization as well. They would flee if they get the opportunity to do so.
The Zionist attacks have reached 131 days. The genocide is still ongoing as bombardments are targeting the Gaza Strip, claiming more lives of innocent civilians, another telling evidence of the barbarism of the occupied forces, of the occupiers' forces. Midisa Kebash followed the situation, has this report.
Bombardments are still targeting the Palestinian territories. Over the past 24 hours, no less than 11 massacres have been carried out, claiming more than 103 martyrs, 145 wounded, without counting those stuck under the rubble. In these dire times, the merciless war machinery is preventing ambulances and members of civil defense to bring help to those in need. The health system on the Gaza Strip reached a non-return point after 5 months of genocide committed by the Zionist forces, which affected 98 health facilities, including 27 hospitals and 123 ambulances. The attacks targeted also the medical staff. In total, 304 fell martyrs, 900 of them were wounded, while 100 are still detained by the Zionist occupier. Several Palestinian organizations active within the health sector launched an emergency call to international organizations for human rights so as to immediately protect the hospital of Khan Yunis and other medical tents installed in the Gaza Strip. The World Health Organization's aid are not reaching fully, as only 40% of them are authorized by the Zionist entity towards the north of Gaza. The WHO representative in the Palestinian territory called for establishing a humanitarian corridor to allow the access of humanitarian missions dispatched by international organizations.
The Makhzen forces targeted Sahrawi civilians in Al-Ma'ardat in the occupied territories. The attacks aim at pushing the Sahrawis to leave their region. These human rights violations are not new. They have lasted for years. Ines Killu explains.
Sahrawis under oppression by the Makhzen army in Al-Ma'ardat region, which has been for many years the scene of a fierce struggle for self-determination and human rights for the Sahrawi. In a deliberate forced displacement operation, the Makhzen army targeted and destroyed the homes and tents of Sahrawis in the occupied La'yun region, and the strategy occurred along the coast of Taruma to Akhti Babali, crossing by Al-Ma'ardat, representing a blaring violation of human rights that goes against the international agreements. A scene of violation and brutality, not the first of its kind, perpetrated by officials belonging to the so-called La'yun region. So they arrive in official cars, accompanied by units of the occupying gendarmerie and workers affiliated to what we call the National Revitalization Initiative. They burned everything, literally everything. Without any prior warning, the Sahrawis were violently expelled from their homes and burned against their own will, and the occupier aims to empty the area of its residents according to a discriminatory and racist plan in order to give these lands to companies and investors affiliated to the Makhzen. According to human rights defenders, this is a war crime against humanity and a flagrant violation of the principles of international law.
The end. Thank you to our technicians and journalists, and thank you for watching. Take care.